defense.
Well, you want to talk about a way that this game had to turn if the Raiders were going to have thoughts of winning it. A sack, an interception, and take it in for a score. That would be the way to get this crowd back into it. 2nd and 8. Rather 2nd and 6 from the 8. Complete short. Near first down yardage. Tim Brown, they might have to measure this one.
I think according to our 1st and 10 line that's electronically placed on the field out there, the first down spots, Brown looks to be about a half-yard short. Bunched receivers there. Brown right there with the tight ends gets open underneath in the middle and pays the price for making a catch as Jamie Sharper gets a good lick in on him as well as Peter Boulware, and that'll create 3rd and short. And I don't know if they're going to try. Last time we saw him 3rd and short, Wheatley was smacked a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage. I like play action right here.
Put it in Rich Gannon's hand. 0 for 8 on 3rd down conversions. Gannon will give to Wheatley. This time he's got a bit of a hole, struggling forward, and that may be enough for the first down. He appeared to be right at that yellow yardage to gain line.
Well, now you see when the Ravens job was open and they hired Billick, and the Raiders job was open and they hired Gruden, why they didn't hire me. I call for play action, and they give it to Wheatley because they believe in these guys. And why not? Steve Wisniewski is a Pro Bowler off that side. Barry Sims, 6'5", 305. They should be able to push a few guys out of the way and gain a half-yard, right? We'll see with the measurement because it was very close. I tell you what, if they don't make it, and they did, by half a football, but if they didn't, would that be 4th down territory for you to go for it, or would you have taken the 3?
I think with this crowd, it would be hard to kick a field goal. I mean, you got to get some points out of it, no doubt, but you know, there's also sending a message, being aggressive, and all that. And I got a feeling.
It's moot now anyway.
That's
moot
right.
Now they got to punch it in. You got 1st and goal from about the 2. You got to get this one in. And again, I like play action against this very aggressive Ravens defense.
And we'll see if Rich Gannon has the confidence in his physical situation after the injury to use his feet on any bootlegs or rollouts. He gives to Wheatley again, no hole at all. He may have lost a yard. And you really can't get conservative here in this situation. You need 7.
Well, sometimes football coaches and football teams get awfully stubborn. Our men are men just like your men. We should be able to push your men out of the way. This is a very aggressive, solid defensive unit. And you're just not going to get many opportunities to knock them back off the football and push this Ravens defense in the end zone. Have great speed and great power up the middle with those huge tackles.
2nd and goal from the 3. Gannon off of play action. Rolling out to his right. Still looking. Under pressure. And taken down for a loss of at least 3 on the play. Give the sack to Jamie Sharper. So things starting to not look so rosy for the Raiders.
Did you see the speed of Jamie Sharper? Like he was shot out of a cannon, closing the gap on Rich Gannon and really taking him down hard, coming across his legs, out of bounds on the near side of the football field. Just excellent defense being played here. There's the 4th-year man out of Virginia. 3 excellent young linebackers on this team. Could be the anchors of this defense for a long time to come.
Jamie Sharper didn't have a sack all season long, including the playoffs, until right there. It was a big one. 3rd and goal now, facing Gannon and the Raiders. Plenty of time to throw. Oh, it's dropped at the goal line by Randy Jordan. The ball may have been a bit behind him. But
and it was. Gannon knows it, too. He's got to lead his receiver a little bit. Jordan's running full speed one way. And watch the pass of Gannon. It's going to come a little bit behind him. Jordan, a running back, well, he ought to catch it. Still, it was very little behind him. To the naked eye, when it was running full speed there and live, it looked like it was a lot behind him, but it really wasn't. Hit him right in the hands. He should have held on to it.
Got to make that play. Instead, Janikowski will be on to try and put the Raiders on the board, and he has no trouble there. Janikowski on the season inside 29 yards was a perfect 7 for 7. That one was from 24, and the Raiders are finally on the board. Not only some of the craziest fans, but some of the most imaginative of the Oakland Raiders finally got something to cheer about here in the 3rd quarter. Sebastian Janikowski just kicked a 24-yard field goal, so the Raiders get on the board and convert a turnover into points. Kickoff is to the 8-yard line where Jermaine Lewis has it, reversing the field. Now cutting back up the middle. Nice return out to the 38-yard line. So the Ravens, who have been beneficiaries of great field position all game long, continuing the third quarter, though their lead has been shaved to 7. The Oakland Raiders have finally awoken against the Baltimore Ravens. If you're just joining us, you're watching the AFC Championship game as the NFL continues on ESPN. Mark Brown along with Eric Clemens. The Raiders were shut out 10-0 in the first half, but come up with an interception of Trent Dilfer, turn that into 3 points, and now trail by the score of 10-3. So we'll see if there's been a momentum shift for John Gruden's Raiders. 37-yard line is where the Ravens have it. Jamal Lewis cuts it back out across the 40.
Ravens just, nothing fancy, just very, very solid football, almost a defensive offense. Pick up 3 or 4 yards at a time, running the ball with Jamal Lewis and Priest home, little dink passes. And when we want to keep you honest, we'll go deep down the field to the speedster Patrick Johnson or Padre Ismail, or get you underneath with Shannon Sharp. So a good philosophy offensively to protect the ball when you have a lead in this defense.
Lewis turns it upfield, leaps over tacklers and out to the 45-yard line. So about 2 yards short of the first down, and 36 yards now on 13 carries for Lewis.
And defensive coordinator Chuck Bresnahan calling the 3rd and 3 play. This is not to the advantage of a defense because they could either run or pass and get a first down. And of course, if you're an offensive team, you like these 3rd and shorts because defenses can't really predict what you're going to do. We'll see what Trent Dilfer does with 3 receivers.
Last time on 3rd down, he threw an interception. Here comes the blitz, short drop, and it's complete for first down yardage into Raider territory. It's Brandon Stokely.
Brandon Stokely just lining up in the slot on the near side, just stayed down the seam, and he was open, found a soft spot, quick slant pattern, boom, right here. 1, 2, 3-step drop for Dilfer. Now time to throw. Right on target to number 80, who's just sitting in the soft spot waiting for it, and Greg Biekert coming over from his middle linebacker spot to make the tackle.
On the season, Brandon Stokely only 11 catches, 184 yards. He had 1 8-yard catch against Tennessee last week. 1st and 10 from the 42, and a loss of a yard, maybe 2 for Lewis.
There's nothing doing on that play as they try to run off Jonathan Ogden's side, but Grady Jackson was there to make the tackle. Here we go again. Vickers and Ogden on that side, but Grady Jackson is there. Also a couple of other Raiders in. William Thomas in on the play, outside linebacker, and they throw Lewis down hard.
So it is a loss of 1. And a 2nd and 11 from the Raiders 43. Stokely coming in motion. Straight drop from Dilfer. Going down the middle, complete inside the 20-yard line. Ben Coates, the forgotten man.
Ben Coates, so many years a Pro Bowl caliber performer with the New England Patriots, catching passes from Drew Bledsoe, and he gets down in the seam here. This is an excellent pass, excellent touch over the linebacker William Thomas, right into the seam. Ben Coates is not bumped at the line of scrimmage there, running free for 20-25 yards down the field, makes the catch. Dorsett doesn't get over, neither does Marquez Pope to cover the tight end.
And Ben Coates, who made that big catch to give the ball to the Ravens deep in Raider territory, is down. Just as soon as the Raiders get on the board, the Ravens move the ball down the football field. They're back in striking distance again, thanks to a big completion from Dilfer to Ben Coates, his first postseason reception this year. Only caught 9 balls on the year. Has it 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. The 24-yard completion. Handoff straight up the middle. The tackle made by Grady Jackson. Short gain from Jamal Lewis. There's Ben Coates. Paid a price for that catch.
Yeah, I don't know whether he took a big hit or whether he did most of the damage when he went down. There he goes down and lands hard on his elbow, on his head. I mean, it could be a number of things that were injured on that play, but the big fella looks okay.
Oh, and he is way up there on the all-time tight end receiving list. 3rd all-time in touchdowns, 9th in yards, and 5th all-time in tight end receptions. 2nd and 7. They give us up the middle and falling forward for about 3 or 4 more.
I think for several years back with the Patriots, he was the very best in football. I mean, he was Drew Bledsoe's #1 target. The guy knows how to get open. He knows how to get downfield, and he knows how to be physical. The Ravens responding with a good ball control drive. They make a turnover, results in 3 points for the Raiders, and they come right back and drive it right back down the field. This says a lot for Brian Billick's offense.
3rd and 4 from the 13. They give it to Lewis again. Very conservative.
Very conservative.
3
Don't
straight
like that call
times.
at all.
3 straight times they give it to Lewis, and they come up with about 8 total yards. But you have to think that they were playing for the field goal there, and it's much too early to be doing that.
Right. Too much at stake. Too much can go wrong on field goals. Stover, Mr. Automatic, led the NFL with under 35 points. Led the NFL. He's a Pro Bowler, but so much can go wrong on a field goal attempt. You don't want to play for field goals. This is a game of aggression, in my opinion.
It'll be a 29-yard attempt for Stover. No doubt about that one. He takes a big tumble after kicking it through, but he has restored the 10-point lead for the Ravens. So they have answered the last thrust by the Raiders, and they're up 13-3 in the 3rd. The Raiders side of the Bay Area has turned out to support their team, but they haven't had anywhere near the amount to cheer about that they had last week at the 27-0 shellacking of Miami.
There you go again. You saw the guy with the wild hair there, Tony Bryant, and you might have thought you were still looking at the fans on the sideline, but that's a Raider player who's there with the hair sticking all out of the cap. So he's believing in this thing, and they all believe in that guy, number 12, Rich Gannon. He's going to have to come up with some big plays to keep the Raiders within striking distance in this game.
Kick is away from Stover. This one is deep. David Dunn will take it 5 yards deep in the end zone, and he's not taking that one out. And, of course, we've told you about the Ravens defense, and once again, they're doing the job today.
Well, they're led by the man in the middle, Lewis, and then Siragusa with all that weight down on Gannon, forcing the injury, and the interception that time by Dwayne Starks, leading to points. And Ray Lewis knows we got a 10-point cushion. We're getting to be late in the 3rd quarter. It's on us, fellas. If we do our jobs, we should be Super Bowl bound. That's a big if, though. Still a lot of football to play.
Have to see what Rich Gannon and Oakland can do. They are the #1 rushing team in the NFL, but you wouldn't know it today. Just 18 yards. And, of course, they are going against the #1 rushing defense of all time in a single season. Short completion in the flat from Gannon to Tim Brown, and that gets the Raiders' drive started off right.
And it looks like the Raiders have noticed something a little less aggressive about the Baltimore defense, trying to nurse that 10-point lead. Baltimore defense may be letting up just a little bit. And as we talked about during one of the breaks earlier, Mark, this is a defense that tends to get better as the game goes on. And right now, with a 10-point lead, maybe they've softened up a bit so they don't give up anything big.
It's amazing how one can tighten up with the Super Bowl at stake. Just ask the Vikings from earlier today. High formation, Ritchie in front of Wheatley. They go play action under pressure. Gannon throws complete. Ricky Dudley for about 7 or 8 yards. So that is his first catch of the day. Dudley didn't have any catches against Miami. In fact, had a drop.
Absolutely, but Dudley has to hold on to that one, and Gannon very patient. Had a little more zip on that ball out to the far side of the field. One more look at it. Ravens coming on a bit of a blitz, but Woodson coming to the wrong side. But here comes Sharper. Almost got to Gannon in time, but Gannon able to get rid of the ball and find his big tight end. A huge target there in front of the linebacker, Bullware, for a good pickup of 8 yards.
2nd and 3. They give us to Wheatley. Nowhere to go. Just back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down upcoming.
And he had a full head of steam going through that hole. And Tyrone Wheatley, this is a guy 235 pounds, a full head of steam going off the left side of the offensive line, and he's smacked down as if he ran into a brick wall. That's how good this defense is. Too much time left in the ball game for Gruden to play fourth down territory here on this position of the field. So they got to convert this 3rd and 2 from their own 38.
12 carries and only 7 yards for Wheatley, who's out of the game at the moment, replaced by Randy Jordan. Short drop from Gannon, throws it behind Andre Rison, who says he was being held, and here comes the flag. So that carries with it an automatic first if it's defensive holding, which would be 5 yards.
And Chris McAllister is arguing so vehemently because he thinks that he was within his 5-yard chuck zone. However, when the ball is in the air, you can't be chucking. So that's probably what the call is. Let's see what the referee says.
Pass interference, 21, defense, automatic first down.
Let's see. Now, here he is against Andre Rison. Chuck, ball's in the air already. Okay, it might be a little cheap. He just got a little hands to shoulders here. Brian Billick says, oh, no.
That's a tough spot for McAllister. He doesn't really know when the ball is coming, but it's a 1st and 10 from midfield. Gannon with time. Has to just throw it away. That is saying something about the coverage of Baltimore.
There was nobody open, but again, you know, we talked about it earlier. I know against a good defensive team, your quarterback doesn't have a whole lot of time to throw the ball. I got to send James Jett on a fly pattern down against one of these cornerbacks, hopefully create a man-to-man situation, and throw the ball up there and see what I get. Just to keep them honest, just to do something. Everything they've thrown has been pretty much underneath the defense all game long. He just had nobody open that time. But I want to try to test this defense if I'm the Raiders.
2nd and 10 from midfield, and some movement up there on the left side. Barry Sims, the left tackle, moved early, came out of the stance for the Raiders. And you look at Marvin Lewis, and there is a guy who's got to be a hot commodity in the head coaching ranks.
65, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
When your defense sets and establishes NFL records defensively, more than one of them this year, points and rush yards allowed, well, you've got to be thought of as a head coaching candidate somewhere.
Absolutely. He's going to be thought of as a head coaching candidate somewhere. All the hot defensive and offensive coordinators always are. And now the advantage going towards his excellent defense in a 2nd and 15 situation.
Dudley came in motion, play action for Gannon. Throwing short and incomplete. Jeremy Brigham, he wouldn't have had any yardage anyway. It only would have been back to the original line of scrimmage.
Tried to come back with a play that worked for 11 yards on their previous possession. Brigham coming across the field, but this time Ray Lewis says, hey, you can fool me once. You're not going to fool me twice. I'm underneath on the coverage of the tight end, and that's not going anywhere.
A lot of people probably didn't get to see Baltimore very much during the regular season. But Ray Lewis, come playoff time, is showing you why he's probably the best defensive player, period, in football. He's making plays in the passing game. He's stopping runners coming through the middle. He's just doing it all. 3rd long. Gannon again throws short. John Ritchie at midfield, and that is it. He is wrapped up.
There's absolutely nowhere to go. He looked left. He came back right. He went back left. He came back right and finally found his fullback out of the backfield, John Ritchie. Look at this coverage from up top. You see your 3 receivers right there. They're going to go out in the patterns. Now, where can he throw the ball? You got the receiver to the near side just breaking outside. Now he comes back to Ritchie, who's 10 yards short of the 1st down, and the Ravens will let him catch that all day.
So they have to punt it away again. It goes out of bounds in the neighborhood of the 20-yard line as Shane Leckler continues to limp, but he's their only choice at punter at the moment. So the Ravens take it back. They've still got the 10-point lead. Art Modell is the Baltimore owner and CEO in his 40th year of ownership. Of course, he was the owner of the Cleveland Browns, who after the '95 season picked up and moved. He's a figure vilified in Cleveland, about to become a hero in Baltimore. 1st and 10 from their 19. Dilfer's going to run this one, slides it down at about the 23-yard line. Modell with the Cleveland Browns has one NFL title to his credit back in 1964 when they beat the Baltimore Colts 27-0. They had 3 other championship game appearances and lost them all 65, 68, and 69. And then, of course, AFC championship appearances 86, 87, and 89. And just say the word John Elway in Cleveland, and that's all you need to know about how their season ended.
Bad memories for Browns fans, but now Ravens have a new history and about a quarter and 90 seconds away from an appearance in the Super Bowl.
Off the play action, Dilfer will try the left side, complete to Brandon Stokely. Brought it down inbounds in front of Charles Woodson. Stokely has done a nice job today.
And again, the football is a game of aggression. So, okay, Charles Woodson is a Pro Bowl cornerback. Let's go at him. The receiver knows where he's going. Woodson can't cover absolutely everything perfectly every play. Let's go at this team, move the ball a little bit, and help our defense out a little bit. The more pressure we put on the Raiders, the more we move the ball, the less time their offense has to operate against our great defense.
Gives him a 1st and 10 at the 31 after the 8-yard reception from Stokely. Jamal Lewis fumbles the football. The Raiders have it. Not enjoying prosperity. The Ravens with the ball game in their pockets turn the ball over.
And Jamal Lewis had a lot of room to run that time. For the 2nd time in the game, Lewis just doesn't appear to have the handle after he gets the handoff. He's running through the hole, really runs into his own lineman, and there's the hit right there. Elijah Alexander knocks it loose, but I'm sure he would tell you I shouldn't fumble on taking a hit like that. It didn't cream him or anything, didn't even strip his arm away from the football, but a key turnover for John Gruden's Raiders, and he begins to look at the offensive plays right now and make a call.
He showed you that turnover stat. He lost the first fumble of the postseason for him. Showed you the turnover stat. When you were +2 in the takeaway range, you win 81% of your games. Well, here in the 3rd quarter, that +2 has turned back to even, and that is big news for the Raiders.
I think Rich Gannon is still very, very sore from that hit from Tony Siragusa earlier. It just didn't look fluid on that semi-rollout play. Of course, he's an excellent running quarterback, rushing the ball very well this year for 529 yards during the regular season. But on that particular rollout, he kind of shot-putted that ball out there, didn't get anywhere near the receiver.
Line of scrimmage is the Ravens 43. Gannon to throw. This time goes down the field, and it's intercepted. Dwayne Starks, his 2nd of the day. Picks up a block. He's still going. Back out near midfield to his own 49. So Gannon gives it right back to the Ravens.
And, well, I've been calling for it all game. I've been calling for them to really push these cornerbacks. They had the perfect situation there. Andre Rison one-on-one against Dwayne Starks, who had 6 picks on the year. That ball is underthrown a little bit by Rich Gannon. Starks just steps right in front of Rison and intercepts the ball right there and has an excellent return. So now the Ravens, once again, in excellent field position after getting the turnover back.
Dwayne Starks, his 2nd pick of the day. He had 6 interceptions in the regular season. Now has 2 this postseason, both of them from the arm of Rich Gannon. Trent Dilfer takes over just shy of midfield and gives it to Jamal Lewis, who takes it into Raider territory down to the 47-yard line.
What a huge, huge play that was. And Dwayne Starks, if that ball's let out in front of the receiver a little bit, Starks may be beaten, but since it was underthrown, Starks makes an excellent break on it and comes through. And you know there's one guy who does not want to fumble the ball anymore as we get to the end of the 3rd quarter here.
Credit Brian Billick. He put it right back in the hands of Jamal Lewis, trying to show him some confidence, shore up that confidence. But despite the mistakes, the Ravens will end 3 quarters now in Oakland, up 13-3 over the Raiders.
Is the new Corsa's fancy technology really as big as Vauxhall claim? Well, here's a big car
Let's compare, shall we?
Dynamic safety chassis?
Nope.
Wheels further into corners for extra stability?
Nope.
Speed-sensitive power steering?
I don't think so.
Well, what have you got?
Got a hot tub and a minibar.
Yeah, but you'd never get in the garage, would you?
The all-new Corsa, the biggest small car we've ever built.
Yellow. Yeah, he was a big boy. It wasn't for a bad you have to wear the stiletto.
Ooh, bad craving. Come on, girls, let's patch him.
Now you can beat cigarettes one at a time, and you're twice as likely to succeed with Nicorette Patch.
Call the live one-to-one girls now on 09066 400 800. That's 09066 400 800.
Ignition, power, whoa! Start collecting megabytes. Die-cast scale models of the best motorbikes in the world. With fact sheets, technical information and fold-out photographs. Collect these exact replicas of the most famous bikes ever. Part 1 with the Yamaha R1, £2.50. Usual price £4.99.
AFC Championship game is 1 quarter away from its conclusion, if it doesn't go to overtime, of course. And we have a lead for the travelling team, which is the Baltimore Ravens, 13-3 over Oakland.
It's a conclusion you just jumped to.
Yeah, exactly, that's right. And then step straight back from 10 points is only the difference. I mean, it's a quarter of football.
That's a big only.
Isn't it, in with these two teams? And
yeah,
especially the way that Oakland aren't getting their game together.
It would have been nice if Randy Jordan had held on to that ball at the goal line and they had a touchdown to come out of the only good drive they've had this whole game. But I think the moment that epitomizes Oakland's offense so far was when you see Rich Gannon back and protected in the pocket and going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reads before he can throw to a guy 10 yards short of the first down who's covered anyway.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you get that kind of coverage, there is nothing you can do in those kind of situations.
And I think Gannon's game appears to be deteriorating accordingly with that as well. I mean, the confidence must be knocked as well as he's hit.
Well, he doesn't seem to be throwing the ball particularly well. He's not getting much zip on it. Normally, he'll throw a lot on the run, and he's not doing that. And he isn't running, you notice, either. He's not breaking out of the pocket because I think he knows, even if it's not hurting him, he knows that he's not going to make a lot of yardage the way they close down so quickly on a scrambling quarterback. So there's not much point in doing that. He's better off sitting in and trying to make something happen through the air.
But that's the point, because they can be mercurial, you know, at times. I mean, and so there is enough time on the clock in which to do something about this.
Oh, there's plenty of time to win this game. But to do that, you have to stop the Ravens right now, which they've been doing. I mean, you know, not concede another field goal, say, and then you've got to come back and move the ball down the field consistently. You can't try to eat up half the quarter. Moving it, you've got to come down and get a score, you know, and then play them even again, and that's really looking difficult for Oakland.
And I don't know if they plan to actually complete their season in this particular style ball.
I doubt if they did, you know.
But I mean, it's working so well for them the last couple of months, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. But what really to me is most surprising is that Tim Brown hasn't been able to shake himself free anywhere so far. You know, even when he's made a catch, there's been a defender right on him, and he hasn't been able to run after the catch. In fact, none of their receivers have had much to do after the catch, and they've pretty much given up on the running game completely right now.
Well, for Baltimore now, it's defend the lead and win the championship. At Oakland on their own turf, can they get back into it? It is 10 points. That might be a very big 10 points. We'll find out at the end of this game now as we can go back to Oakland.
10 second quarter points by the Ravens. Jump things out quickly. Dilfer avoided the sack immediately. Broken play, that sure looked like. In any event, he will take it down for a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Dilfer's job now not to lose it. Jamal Lewis's job now not to lose it. And the Raiders' job now to try to create a turnover and to shift in momentum. This one doomed from the very beginning, as Dilfer says, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to go down as quickly as I possibly can to avoid being pounded upon by 325-pound Mr. Darrell Russell.
After being up 10-0 without turning it over in the first half, the Ravens turned it over twice in the third quarter, but it only cost them 3 points. They still lead by 10. This is Priest Holmes with running room off the left side. He's got first down yardage before being taken down out of bounds.
Every first down takes another 2 minutes or so off the clock, and that's what the job of this offense is, for Tony Siragusa to get a rest along with that defensive unit. And you see Chuck Bresnahan there. Says, I can't believe we didn't get this one covered. Shut down. Priest Holmes, big hole off the right side, gets into the secondary and picks up a fresh set of downs.
They converted a 3rd and 4 easily. Priest Holmes with a decent day. 7 carries for 25 yards. Not much running room has been apparent for either team. Play action for Dilfer, backpedaling and just throws it away. Is he outside the tackles? That should be grounding.
No, I don't think he was outside the tackles, and then now we get the late flag in there, and that'll be a great call if it's intentional grounding. And it is. They'll lose it down as well. Brian Billick pointing to the receiver he was allegedly throwing at, but nobody was anywhere near that ball. He definitely threw that ball to avoid the sack. I believe it was Grady Jackson who was bearing down on Trent Dilfer.
And now there may have been someone in his line.
Intentional grounding on the quarterback, number 8. This penalty includes a loss of down.
He's definitely not outside the tackles here. Here comes Grady Jackson. There goes the throw, and who's there?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I mean, his receiver is running a fly pattern down the sideline. He's 25 yards away from that ball. And when Brian Billick sees the film, he's going to call somebody and apologize, I'm sure.
You got to give that one up, Brian. Still in great shape, not as far as down in distance on 2nd and 23. However, great field position and the 10-point lead with under 13.5 minutes to play. Hold that lead, and you're going to Tampa. Handoff straight up the middle to midfield. It's Priest Holmes.
Last time we saw them in an obvious situation where we thought they would run a very conservative play and give up the ball and punt it was with their backs against their own goal line, and they get a 96-yard touchdown out of it. Let's see how conservatively or not Brian Billick plays this call. 3rd and 22, you're at midfield, good field position, or do you just play a conservative running play, get your punter to put the ball inside the 20 and rely on the best defense in the National Football League right now?
I might be inclined to do just that.
I think I'd do the latter as well.
They're set up in a passing formation, but he does hand it off to Holmes, who gets a decent run down to about the 45-yard line. Not nearly close enough for a first down, but they are in position to pin him back.
And Brian Billick still lamenting over that intentional grounding call. But Kyle Richardson led the NFL with 35 punts inside the 20, and they're going to ask him to do that one more time. They could really use it.
And he gets this one off. Deep towards the left corner. They get away from it. This should work out well for the Ravens, and they cover it up on the 1-yard line. You can't do it any better than that. Kyle Richardson puts it in the air. Billy Davis covers it. The Raiders will be backed up on their 1.
Here we go. Take a big deep breath. Dyson dives for the end zone. Brunel leaps. Touchdown. Jackson. The right side. Freeman turns. Touchdown. 5. Charlie hit there. Touchdown. Lions. Touchdown. Tony Gonzalez. Takes it over. Corey Bradford. And they won't catch him today. It's heavenly. It's wonderful. Austin at the map is touchdown Falcons. Oh, baby, what a ball.
NBA season continues on ESPN. Gannon throwing out of his own end zone, complete to Zach Crockett and out of bounds. A gain of about 4 or 5 on the play.
And here's the difficulty, you know, against this Ravens defense. We could pick up a 6 yards on first down. Zach Crockett always has been an excellent receiver out of the backfield. But how long is it going to take you to navigate 99 yards against this kind of defense? How much time is it going to take off that clock to get the job done?
You look at the numbers, they've thrown more in the second half, but without much productivity. Gannon this time going to look down the field and Well, that was to nobody. Tim Brown was in the vicinity, but the ball wasn't that close. Top rushing quarterbacks since 1997. You got Rich Gannon right up there with Cordell Stewart and Steve McNair. Of course, Donovan McNabb's done that 2 seasons, so he's been pretty impressive. But
he's like a running back there who can also throw the ball pretty well. But there's another example that Rich Gannon may not be totally healthy because Brown was open in between defenders on the sideline, ball nowhere near him.
Big 3rd down and 4. Gannon to throw again. He's under pressure. Escapes but loses the ball. Still loose, recovered by the Ravens. Uh-oh, that should just about do it. I know there's 11+ minutes left, but this is looking bleak for Oakland.
Has it?
Not Ray Lewis.
Well, that's a very good guess, and I believe number 52 does pick it up. But Rich Gannon trying to make something happen. Reverse angle look here. Looking one way, nobody open. Now he takes the hit from a foot of his own offensive lineman, and there's Ray Lewis. Mr. I'm always around the ball. The foot knocking the ball loose. Gannon trying to recover, and Ray Lewis, Johnny on the spot. And the recovery here, even if they get a field goal, it becomes a situation where the Raiders of Coach John Gruden would have to score 2 touchdowns to get back into this thing. I don't think you get a touchdown and 2 field goals before it's all over. That's if the Ravens don't get a touchdown off this turnover.
Oakland offense have turned it over 4 times today. Their 20 turnovers in the regular season was the fewest of anyone in the NFL. Raider defense stepping up nicely there as Grady Jackson trips up the runner in the backfield. May have lost a yard. It's still 2nd and goal. Ray Lewis now has a takeaway in each of the 3 playoff games for the Ravens. An interception in each of the first 2 games. Last week he returned his pick 50 yards for the touchdown. This time comes up with a fumble recovery.
And he has been something. Of course, he has overcome personal adversity this year with that well-publicized murder trial that he was involved in. And now to come on to have one of the best years of his career and set his team up in great shape.
Handoff is to Lewis, and he doesn't have much, but a flag comes in. The whistles may actually happen before. Could have a false start on the offense.
And the Raiders pointing in the direction of the Ravens, so they're going to take whatever penalty it is.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 70, offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Harry Swain, the 14th man out of Rutgers. He's actually played in 3 Super Bowls. He won 2 with Denver after the 97 and 98 seasons. You can see what the Oakland offense has managed against the Ravens today, almost nothing. He also lost another Super Bowl back in when he was in San Diego. So he's played in 3.
An embarrassing one against the 49ers. That was, well.
So they will back it up now just inside the 13-yard line. It is still 2nd and goal. Ismail coming in motion. And he will take the reverse with blockers in front, but the Raiders were all over that one. They lose some more yardage, so they're going the wrong direction here, are the Ravens.
I tell you, I mean, I don't know how many times and how many different ways I can repeat it, but this Ravens offense really doesn't do anything to scare you. Their job is basically to not put their defense in a position to lose ball games. Hold on to the football, don't turn it over, methodically move the ball down the field, and let the defense do its job, and you'll win games 13-3, 13-10, 13-7. And that's why they're here with a good opportunity to get to the Super Bowl if they hang on for 10 more minutes.
Well, now it's back to the 16-yard line, 3rd and goal. They hand off again to Lewis. He scrambles inside maybe to the 13, and it'll set up another field goal attempt for Matt Stover. And a flag comes in. Ismail says it's on the Raiders, and if it's of the automatic 1st down variety, that will be unforgivable.
Well, I believe it'll be an unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness on a very frustrated Charles Woodson, a personal foul penalty, blocking against Ismail.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 24, defense after the play. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
one of the stupidest penalties I have ever seen.
And I don't know if you could get another look at that. I wish they'd run it again, because Charles Woodson ran up on Qadri Ismail with a big smile on his face, as if he was going to joke with him. And then suddenly that smile turned into a scowl, and he pushed him right down after the play. Boy, do you not need that. It hurts you because you give him a fresh set. It hurts you because it eats more time off the clock. And John Gruden going, I can't believe my Pro Bowler would make a stupid decision like that at this time of the game.
First and goal from the 7. Again, they keep it on the ground. Again, the Raider defense stuffs it. A gain of maybe a yard.
In that kind of situation, you can't be thinking. It's just got to be a reaction out of pure frustration, because you don't have your head into the game really at all.
But my problem with that is that this is your one chance. You know, the play just went your way. Now you got a possible momentum. I mean, you can't even look at that as heat of the battle. It's inexcusable for what's in there, especially if they end up with 7 instead of what would have probably have been 3. Meanwhile, precious time ticking off the clock against the Raiders as well. Lewis down to the 5. I mean, by now the field goal would be kicked and the Raiders would have the ball back.
That'll be another at least a minute to minute and a half before they would even attempt another field goal here on 3rd and goal. I wouldn't think they'd try to pass the football. Why would they? You see Tony Bryant going out really favoring the left arm and shoulder area. And he's going to have to sit down for a little while. Backing him up sometimes is Josh Tevez, or they can move Coleman over to that end. They need to stop here, and they need to get the ball back in a hurry.
3rd and goal from the 5. Again, they keep it on the ground, and Jamal Lewis takes it down to about the 3, and there is Art Modell.
That champagne in front of him? No, I think a glass of wine.
Looks like some Chardonnay, perhaps. Got to keep that champagne on ice. Not far from wine country out
no, that's true.
Northern California way either. I'm sure it's a fine vintage. Allowing himself a little chuckle and a smile. Things are starting to look a bit rosier for Art Modell. This one will be from 21 yards for Stover to make it a 13-point lead. And he does just that. So time continues to run short. The Raider deficit runs a bit longer. It's 16-3 in the 4th. Running down the clock here in Oakland, the Raider fans realize that the season is really hanging in the balance. They trail by 13 points here in the 4th quarter, and only a finite number of possessions are left for the Raiders. And of course, the Baltimore Ravens pitching nearly a shutout today, and it shouldn't be a surprise. They've 4 of them during the regular season. No team in a 16-game schedule has given up fewer points than the Ravens have.
Only a little more than 10 a game. That is absolutely incredible.
David Dunn out off the right side, out near the 30-yard line. Looks like a flag flying in, preliminary indication holding. And then there it is. They are going to back it up even further for the Raiders. So continuing to shoot themselves in the foot is Oakland.
Holding 37 on the return team during the run back. 10-yard penalty. Receiving team will keep the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
It appears that Rich Gannon's day is over. The Raiders' hopes will fall on the shoulders of Bobby Hoying. Well, Gannon and Gruden talking things over, and Gruden pulling Rich Gannon. Hoying's first pass here in the 4th quarter falls incomplete.
I think it was batted at the line of scrimmage when he lets it go, and you can hear a pin drop here in Oakland. The fans who know their football know that Rich Gannon was not himself after taking that hit from Tony Siragusa, really being landed upon by Tony Siragusa, all the force of his weight after he'd thrown the ball away in the 1st quarter. And he has not been the same since. He has not been able to get the ball to his receivers. It's a good decision on both he and Coach Gruden's part to put Hoying in there.
And Hoying losing his footing and now scrambling out. Throws across the middle, complete. And it is Tim Brown who has the first down, and Hoying says, hey, let's go, hurry up. We got the hurry-up offense here with now 7 minutes and counting left.
They need the hurry-up offense, and they need to get it downfield, and they need to put some pressure on this Ravens defense.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody go to the hurry-up against the Ravens. Actually, a 9-yard completion. We haven't seen it in the playoffs, but we did see the Jets go to the hurry-up against the Ravens in a game that they did lose.
And really gouged them early in the game. I mean, they hurt them early with the hurry-up attack.
They were up by 2 scores, and then an incredible spasm of Vinny Testaverde interceptions helped the Ravens get back in the game. Hoying with time. The ball was tipped. Intended receiver was Tim Brown. It fell incomplete. So
boy, if that hadn't been tipped, I think it might have been trouble, because he threw into a wealth of coverage that time. Look right here. There's going to be at least 3 white bodies. There's one through one pair of hands, and there's a couple of bodies you didn't see in the picture. Look at Ray Lewis get his hands up on that ball. A defender was right there with Brown, and Lewis can't believe he didn't come up with an interception.
Well, it used to be in vogue that Penn State was linebacker U, but that changed a number of years ago. It is Miami. There's no doubt about it. Ray Lewis proving that once again. They get the first down with the carry by Randy Jordan.
Jordan limping a little bit. A lot of people limping a little bit after they go up against this defense. But again, got to keep the pressure on. Got to keep the no huddle. And you got to make something happen down the field.
Hoying with time. That ball was batted at the line of scrimmage. Going to be Adalius Thomas, backup defensive end, getting the big paw up there.
Adalius Thomas. I mean, whoever's in there gets a chance to star in this defense, because you really can't double anybody on the outside, because it leaves one of the big tackles of free reign. Adalius Thomas, a rookie out of southern Mississippi, getting the big right hand up for the deflection. So everybody chipping in, helping Ray Lewis out with this great defense.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 43. Hoying throws out to the left, complete, first down yardage, and James Jett hauls it in and takes it out of bounds.
I think that may be his first catch of the day. They have not tried Jett deep to test this secondary. Jett, of course, the fastest man. They have Tony Siragusa taking a breather.
Now, Siragusa and Adams do a great job as the defensive tackles for the Ravens. Not the greatest pass rush group, but they can plug up the middle. And I'm not sure if this is just a break or whether it's a prevent defense pass rush type of substitution. We'll have to see. Hoying with time again, complete. This is Terry Kirby, breaks the tackle. He's still going inside the 20, inside the 15, but the ball is stripped away. Wayne Starks has it. What's the ruling? We haven't heard a whistle to stop play. Terry Kirby says he's down by contact. The officials are still talking about it.
Whatever happens is going to be challenged by one side or another. But I believe, I mean, looking at it from up here with the naked eye, I believe he was down by contact.
But we're going to have to see. Since there was no whistle and no ruling of that, it becomes reviewable. And then if we find that he was down, it could go back to the Raiders.
Terry Kirby, 11 carries last week. Was valuable coming out of the backfield for the Raiders. Right here, trying to pick up some extra yardage. He does not watch very carefully. Yeah, he's down when that ball is stripped out of there by Dwayne Starks, who came up from behind. One more time. He's battling for extra yardage. Watch the knees. They're down, and now the ball comes out.
Not down by contact. The defense has picked up the ball. It'll be Baltimore's ball. First down.
Well, we didn't quite catch the beginning of that. So they've moved Baltimore ball.
The knees are down, and now he strips the ball out.
Yeah, that should not hold up under review.
You're going to have to throw the red flag out here to get that one reviewed.
And the crowd reacting to it. They've seen it on the big board. It's very close, but it does appear that the knee was down.
And his body was almost prone on the ground by the time Starks was coming up with that ripping motion and ripping the ball out of there.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a fumble. We'll review the play.
And I believe when they review this play, they will reverse this. Here it is one more time. Take a look. Don't watch the ball necessarily. Watch Kirby's knees. down. Now here comes the ball. The left leg was down on the ground, and Kirby is almost in a prone position when Starks pulls it out. One more time, watch the left leg down. And there's the ball out clearly as his left shoulder is starting to go to the ground.
Starks has
leg is down now, and he's pulling the ball out as the body's going down. I believe that's down by contact.
I do too. I think he had begun the process of trying to pry it, but it was still in the grasp of the runner when the knee hit the ground. So if they see it the way we see it, it really should be, the call on the field should be reversed, and it should be Raider ball going in.
And the last view we saw, I think, was the best view, and I don't understand sometimes why it doesn't happen quicker. I mean, make a quick decision, see the play once or twice, and call it, and let's move on with the game. One more time. Left leg is now down. Right there. It's down. And now, as his body is going the rest of the way down toward the ground, Starks rips it out from the backside. And as soon as he ripped it out, you saw Kirby hitting on the ground saying, hey, I was down when he ripped that ball out of there.
And this is a huge play right now.
And it's a very quick decision.
Still plenty of time left. If this remains Raider ball and it gets reversed, it's anybody's game. Of course, if it goes to the Ravens as called on the field, then it's almost over.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined that the runner was down by contact. It'll be Oakland's ball, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line.
Amazingly,
reset the game clock
may be the loudest that this crowd has been.
Yeah, loudest that has been in a long time, and I, again, believe it's a good call.
Yes, sir.
The left leg is down right now, and here's the ball, not quite stripped out yet. Now it is, before his full body gets to the ground. Great play by Starks coming up from behind to try to make something happen.
And, of course, that picture is slowed down incredibly. I could see how the call on the field was ruled the way it was, no doubt. But the use of the replay clearly has helped.
And this is why we have replay. And again, if the Ravens hold on and win this game, maybe they've been exposed. Maybe they're showing the New York Giants a way to attack this defense is by going no huddle, making some quick things happen.
1st and 10 from the 15. Hoying getting some confidence, throws into coverage. It was intended for Rison, and I do believe it hit his hands, but he was unable to hold on.
Well, he had a lot of white shirts breathing down on his neck when he made that catch, and he paid for it too. Rison in the slot position inside with Tim Brown. He's going to zip out, turn around. He's in a soft spot, and he hears footsteps there because he just doesn't hold on to that football right here.
Didn't put it away.
And making a tough hit on him was Corey Harris, who had 8 tackles last week against Tennessee, starting for Kim Herring, who was injured.
Hoying seems to be gathering some confidence. We'll see if it's warranted. 2nd down, complete to Kirby. Makes somebody miss at the 10. Dives forward, might have another 1st down. Whoa, maybe they should have used Terry Kirby a little earlier.
Yeah, I thought before the game that he would play a big role coming out of the backfield and maybe trying to put some pressure on these linebackers with pass receptions, but didn't become a factor until the end here. But they need to call a couple plays in this situation on 1st and goal and put this in the end zone as quickly as humanly possible.
1st and goal from the 5. If they score quickly, they won't have to onside. Hoying under pressure, throw it away. And he does just that. He had Tim Brown, who was covered by McAllister. Hoying limping just a bit, but there is no time to be injured now.
Right, he took a shot after letting go of that ball. Ravens don't make anything easy for you. They're not going to give up anything easy. Here's Hoying, and bam, he is just shot to the ground by Jamie Sharper. Coming up, once they make a commitment, they aggressively close ground and aggressively attack the ball carrier.
2nd and goal upcoming from the 5. Marvin Lewis and his defense have had all the answers they have needed today, but this may be their biggest test. Play clock running down. Ravens showing blitz. Hoying under pressure, throws complete, touchdown, Andre Rison. And the Raiders have reached the end zone. Wait a minute. A flag on the play.
And I believe they may be calling Andre Rison. Somebody may have interfered on that play. Let's see what they call.
Pass interference, number 80, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
touchdown reception by Andre Rison is coming back.
Andre Rison, veteran ball player. A little push off.
He did. We've seen him go uncalled like that as well.
That's true.
John Gruden seems to be taking that in stride. Doesn't necessarily disagree with the call. 2nd and goal, but they will back it up. From the 15, this changes everything.
Terry Kirby has been effective coming out of the backfield and running after catch here.
Hoying will run it himself, looking for a blocker, but won't have time to pick him up. He is taken down from behind.
Well, I tell you, that speed right there by Peter Boulware, because he looked like he had a lot of room to pick up some more yards here, and suddenly a white blur came from behind and knocked him down before he knew what was going on. This is 2-down territory, by the way. You got 2 chances to stick this in the end zone, because if you don't, game pretty much over anyway.
12-yard line, 3rd and goal. Hoying with time, intercepted at the 2. It's Jamie Sharper, and he decides to just slide down, take no chances with it. And the Raider drive is over. And more than likely, so is their season. The Ravens hold once again. They lead by 13 with just 3:41 left. Weird. And the Baltimore Ravens not ready to become one of the most unlikely Super Bowl teams maybe ever.
Andre Rison there thought he had a touchdown that would have brought the Raiders right back into this game. Instead, offensive pass interference. And then an interception follows, and all the Ravens have to do is run out the clock.
And amazingly, with the Raiders knowing that, there's still a hole off the left side.
One more look at the interception. Hoying, plenty of time, looking over the middle, but didn't see Sharper.